Rajiv ji, let me ask you the first basic question and flip it around. Why do you think Kamala Harris and the Democrats lost?
Well, thank you for inviting me, and namaste, and good morning to everybody. Kamala Harris lost because the Democrats lost touch with the American grassroots. They're too elitist, too arrogant, and Kamala Harris was actually never really won the primary. When they talk about threats to democracy, one of the principles of democracy in the United States is that you win the primary before you become a nominee, and it's not some party elders who appoint you because they like you. So this was a side deal which was not even in the spirit of democracy. But actually, Kamala Harris lost because she is inexperienced as a national leader in global affairs. She was unwilling to answer questions on whether Americans are better off now than they were 4 years ago. She had no position on immigration, the border dispute, the economy, and so on and so forth. So a weak candidate. Plus, what you have to understand is that the American public are fed up. It was an anti-incumbency election because people felt that they are unhappy with the state of affairs in the United States, both in their own pocketbook, in terms of safety and security in the streets, their perception of America's position in the world, which has gone down. So overall, people felt it's time for a change. And the interesting thing is that Donald Trump has a lot of baggage. And a lot of people said we don't like him as a person, which means that when you vote somebody of that kind, whom in terms of personal character you don't necessarily like, it means you have to be very desperately against the other option.
Okay.
So it was a campaign of not liking one candidate and not liking the other candidate even more.
Okay.
So I think that's the
So
way
I have to ask you now. It's difficult for the rest of the world to understand this because how we define right and left politics in India is completely different from how it's defined in America. For example, if we say that there is a right of center government in India, that right of center government is not discussing abortion and it's promoting women's right, it's promoting electric vehicles and environmentalism. So it's not the same. But there's the concept of wokeism. What is this concept and how does it actually play in an electoral cycle in the United States?
So this is a very important point, and a whole lot of my work is on this only. Wokeism is Marxism reborn, where they brought in not just economically underprivileged people as the oppressed, but also racially people, religious people, LGBTQ people. So it's a coalition where the traditional left have brought in Muslims as oppressed people, brought in blacks as oppressed people, brought in LGBTQ people as oppressed people. So it's a coalition of all these so-called oppressed. And the thing from Indian point of view is they've also brought in Dalits to fight against India, to fight against Hindus as part of the wokeism, and Khalistanis and Kashmir separatists. So when you go to these conferences in the liberal arts, in the Ivy Leagues, you find that a whole lot of these pro-Khalistan people, I go to these places and I'm surprised that at the welcome they are given, both in the academic world, they are given a lot of welcome, and also in some of the government-run think tanks and so on and so forth. So the progressive wing of the Democratic Party have become woke, and they are totally anti-India. They voted so many times to get sanctions against India and so forth. So as an Indian American and as a Hindu American, I'm relieved. Not that Trump's a great guy in his personal life and character and so on, but in the sense that at least we'll have an opportunity to reinvent a relationship between India and the United States, and that'll help the Indian Americans.
Okay, so Rajiv ji, let me post a straightforward question to you. Many people believe, and I'm one of them, that no way in heck is Justin Trudeau running the global campaign that he is currently trying to paint the Indian administration as a gunslinging gung-ho organization committing murder all over the world without tacit nods and wink from the American state. Do you suspect that is now going to change?
Yes, I was in fact going to say, if you were to ask me what are some opportunities for India, one of the important opportunities for India is Trudeau is hating Trump. He's very open about it. And I think India should close ranks with the Trump administration on this whole issue of Khalistan, both as far as the Canadian policy is concerned, as far as the U.S. administration policy is concerned. India should basically, Trump is a very pragmatic guy. It's not idealism and all that stuff. It's about what's good going forward rather than worrying about the past. So India has to say that you have your issues and you go after your terrorists in foreign countries and kill them and whatnot. You know, we are not going to confess anything, but we do not want this matter to come between us. Let's close this whole investigation and inquiry on this Khalistan issue. And we would like the United States to go after the Khalistani terrorists, label them, call them terrorists like we call Islamic terrorists for who they are. So India has to put this on the table, both the Khalistan issue and the Kashmir separatist issue and all this Dalit separatism, these kind of separatisms that come out of India, India should take this up with Trump and his entire cabinet, whether it is Elon Musk or Vivek Ramaswamy or J.D. Vance, all these kind of people. They are totally anti-woke. This is a very, very big deal for India and an important opportunity window.
Okay, so what's then the implication or the messaging that we've just learned from a minuscule but important Indian American and a Hindu American community, and you're a part of both?
So I think that the messaging should be the Indian government has to now take on a more assertive stand.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.